Hey there, welcome or welcome back to Comfy Cat Yoga. My name is Phoenix, and today we're on day 10 of our Mellow Movement Challenge. If you're just joining us, today we're going to be working on a flexibility flow, stretching like a cat, focusing on our back and our hip mobility. If that sounds good to you, go ahead and roll out a mat and we'll get started. We're going to start in a nice seated, comfortable position. We're going to keep the posture nice and tall, crown of the head going towards the ceiling, nice and tall here, keeping that back nice and straight. We're going to bring attention to our breath, inhaling and exhaling, and just grounding us into our practice today. On your inhale, notice any stress. And on your exhale, go ahead and release that stress. Notice the energy of your breath going into your back, into your hips, and throughout your entire body. Maybe take this time to do a nice little self-check-in, see how you're feeling, anything that you need to be aware of before we get into our practice. When you're feeling ready, we're going to come to a tabletop position, stacking the shoulders over the wrists, the hips over the knees, flattening the backs of the feet, and on our inhale, dropping the stomach, bringing the gaze up in our cow, and of course, exhaling, curling the spine, pressing into the hands, into our cat. Couldn't have a cat-centered practice without a cat pose. Take your time here, stretching the spine at the top and the bottom, noticing the opposite movement. Following your own breath. Thanking yourself for coming to your practice today. And to hopefully have a little bit of fun. On your next exhale, go ahead and come to a tabletop position, nice and neutral. We're going to drop the forearms to the mat. We're going to curl the toes under, keeping the forearms on the mat. We're going to push up into a dolphin here. Waking up the shoulders. Maybe going back and forth on your feet. Adding a little bit of movement into this pose. Noticing the difference in your muscle engagement. And keeping an even breath. Go ahead and drop the knees. Go ahead and widen the stance of the knees. Big toes pointing towards one another. Sending the hips back. Our extended child's pose here. Pushing the shoulders to the ground, maybe resting the chin or the forehead on the mat. Taking time to breathe here. Maybe wiggle the fingers. Feeling any stress and tension melt away with your exhales. Go ahead and inhale, coming up, bringing the knees under, bringing the hands under the shoulders to a cobra. Feeling this nice stretch, lengthening the spine. On your exhales, dropping those shoulders away from the ears. And relaxing the back into this position. Excellent job. We're going to curl the toes under. And since we can't have cats without dogs, we're going to push up and back into our downward dog. Engaging the shoulders, adjusting your hands however you need to, pushing that chest towards your hips. Imagining making a V with your body. Breathing here, noticing the difference in your blood flow, the difference in the direction of your breath. Breathing deeply. On your exhale, go ahead and bring it forward, coming back into our cobra, dropping the backs of the feet. Grounding through all 5 fingertips on each hand. Maybe try to look behind you or up to the ceiling, your cobra. Exhale, go ahead and bring some weight into your knees, coming back into a tabletop position. Hopefully this practice is feeling good to you so far. Your back is feeling engaged. Maybe lean one way and the other. Waking up the obliques just a little here. Inhale, bringing the right arm up. Go ahead and thread the needle here, bringing the shoulder to the mat, keeping the other arm nice and stable. Feeling a gentle twist in the spine here. Allowing your body to go where it wants to go. This is your practice. On your next inhale, go ahead and come up, back into our tabletop position, realigning as much as you need to. Then we're going to send that left arm up and thread the needle on the other side. Touching that shoulder to the mat, the side of our head to the mat. Still grounding through that bent arm. Notice any sensations in your spine. How does it feel here? Could you go a little deeper? Should you reduce it a little bit? Remember to listen to your body. Inhale, come back up. And then we're going to bring the hands out just a little bit, curling the toes under and dropping the chest to the mat, but keeping the hips nice and high. For today, we'll call this a kitten pose, but this is our puppy pose. You can keep the gaze forward or drop the gaze to the mat. Pushing through the shoulders, grounding through the hands. Breathing deeply. come up, we're going to walk the hands back just a little bit here, keeping the toes curled under, going to send the hips up and back into our downward dog. Pushing through the shoulders, pressing that chest towards our hips. Really stretching into this pose. Maybe pedal your feet if you'd like a little bit of movement. Maybe rock side to side. Great job. We're going to walk the feet forward, coming into a forward fold. Maybe grabbing the back of the calves, sides of the feet, underneath. We're just grabbing onto our elbows, allowing our spine to relax, our torso to be heavy. Breathe deeply. Awesome job. Wherever your hands are, go ahead and let the fingertips be limp, let the arms be limp. And just like a wave, we're going to curl the spine up. Coming up into Tadasana, pinching the shoulders back here, palms of the hands shining forward, crown of the head nice and tall. Taking a big inhale, and on our exhale, dropping the shoulders. Fully relaxing into this grounding pose. Check in with your body, see how it's doing so far. We're going to start moving into more hip flexor centric poses. So once you're ready for that, we're going to relax the arms, maybe roll the shoulders a little bit. Then once you're ready, we're going to send the left foot back, bringing that left foot at whatever angle you need it to be at. We're just trying to line up these heels so they're on basically the same line. We're going to bend the front knee, adjusting our stance however we need to, stacking the knee over the ankle, and lifting the arms, dropping the shoulders into our warrior one. Try to make your center of gravity go down through your hips here. We're not leaning into this front foot or the back foot. Just really keeping it balanced right in the center there. Take a big inhale here. And on your exhale, hinge at the hips, folding forward, resting the fingertips on the mat, bringing that back foot to have the toes pointing forward, and maybe dropping the knee to the ground, or you can keep it up here in a low lunge. If you have blocks as well, you can use those, bringing them over here to rest your palms on instead if your fingertips can't quite reach the mat. If your leg gets a little tired, you can rest that knee on the mat. Then once you're feeling rejuvenated, you can bring it back up. Or maybe not. You can just leave it on the ground as well. It's whatever your body is telling you. If you still have your knee up, go ahead and drop it to the mat. Flattening the back of the foot. We're going to move our blocks, if we're using them, over to the side. We're going to bring our torso over to the left side of our foot, right in this arch here. Going to rest both hands on the mat in our lizard pose. Even though this flow is stretching like a cat, we sure are doing a lot of animal poses today. Breathe into this. Try not to have all of your weight on that front foot. Try to keep some of it in the center, still activating those hip flexors. If you'd like a little bit more of a challenge, you can also drop your forearms to the mat. But please listen to your body. If there's any pinching or pain, go ahead and come back up. We're going to inhale, bringing our fingertips back over to the other side of the foot. So we have one hand on each side of the foot. From here, we're going to curl those back toes under. We're going to drop our right knee to the ground, coming into a pigeon pose. Come up to center a little bit. Again, you can use your blocks here if you'd like to, bringing them to your sides. Bring that torso nice and tall. Whatever your body tells you it needs today. If we're feeling up for it, we're going to bend that back leg, reaching back with our left hand, and grabbing it and pulling it closer to our body, getting a bit of a quad stretch in that back leg. Remember to breathe deeply, don't hold your breath. Notice any sensations. Where are you stretching the most right now? Go ahead and drop that back foot. We're going to curl the back toes under. We're going to push up into our hands, coming back into a downward dog. Taking a moment to rest here. We're going to walk those feet forward, coming into our forward fold again. Once again, you can grab under the feet, back of the calves, maybe even the back of the thighs, or your elbows. Letting the spine decompress. In our forward fold. From here, go ahead and drop the arms, let them be limp, and slowly, stacking one vertebrae on top of the other, coming up like a wave into Tadasana. Awesome job so far. We're going to repeat that sequence on the other leg now. So we're going to send our right foot back this time, keeping those heels on the same center line, bending the front knee, making sure our torso is turned forward, and bringing the arms up, dropping the shoulders away from the ears into our warrior one. Try to sit your weight right in the center, not relying on the front or the back leg so much. Keeping it pretty even so that your weight is going down through your hip flexors. Awesome job. We're going to inhale really deeply and exhale, folding forward, hinging at the hips, bringing the fingertips to the mat. You can also use your blocks here, just like we did before. Stretching that back leg back, maybe dropping it onto the mat or keeping it up. Try to keep that front knee stacked over the ankle, wherever you happen to be. Check in with your body. How are you feeling right now? Notice any change in your breath or your heartbeat. And go ahead and drop that back knee to the mat. Moving our blocks, or you can continue to use them. It's totally up to you. Bringing both hands into the arch of our foot. So that's going to be on our right side here. And our lizard. Again, if you'd like a little bit more of a challenge, you can drop the forearms to the mat. You might find this is easier to do on one side than the other. We're usually more flexible on one side than the other, so it's perfectly normal. If you're ever trying to get a front split, this is an excellent asana to do before attempting, since it stretches your hamstring, it engages your hip flexor on both sides. Just adds flexibility here. And the lower you can go with your arms, the deeper the stretch goes. Awesome job. We're going to bring one of our hands over to the other side again, curling those back toes under and bending our left knee, coming into our pigeon, flattening the backs of our feet. Once again, you can use your blocks here if you'd like to. Keep you nice and elevated, whatever you would like to do. If you're feeling up to it, you can bend that back knee again, grabbing it with the right hand, pulling it towards your back. Breathe deeply. Feel the stretch in all of the parts of your body, your legs and your hips. Go ahead and drop that back foot, curling the toes under, bringing weight into our hands. Going to do a little push-up, bringing the front leg back into our downward dog. As slowly as you can, bring the weight forward. Slowly, 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 dropping the pelvis to the ground as you reach the front. Once it touches the ground, flattening the backs of the feet, back into our cobra. Take time to feel the sensations in your body. Notice anywhere you're holding stress or you were particularly tense. Try to breathe into those parts of the body. On your inhale, notice them. On your exhale, release. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Maybe look up and back. Just like a cat in the sun here. We're going to push our weight up, bringing the knees out to the sides, big toes pointing towards each other. We're going to slide our arms against the mat, coming into our extended child's pose again. Breathe deeply here. Allow your hip flexors and your back to relax. Grounding through any emotions you might be feeling. Telling yourself you're worth this practice today. Inhale, coming back forward. One more time into our cobra. Going to do a little bit of a variation here. We're going to bend our left leg here, bringing all of our weight into that other standing arm, looking towards our back feet and pulling that back foot towards our body. Go ahead and release it. Coming back into our cobra, realigning as much as you need to. And then bending the right leg, grabbing it with the right hand, looking towards it, bending it towards our back. If you can't quite do this pose, it's okay. You can just stay in cobra. Go ahead and release it. Go ahead and drop the chest to the mat, bringing the forearms to cross in front of us. Bringing the legs in, resting our forehead on our forearms. Taking a moment to decompress here. Breathing deeply. From here, however you need to, come into a lying down position. Maybe move any props that you've been using out of the way. Coming onto our backs here. Nice and comfortable. Legs nice and straight out here. Interlacing our fingers, resting them on the stomach maybe. Taking some time to ground yourself here. Notice any thoughts or feelings, letting them pass. Giving yourself space. Go ahead and relax your arms, bringing them to the sides of your body, palms facing up. Maybe close your eyes or soften your gaze. Relaxing the feet, the legs, the hips, the spine, the back, the shoulders, the neck, the head, the arms, and the hands, coming into Savasana. When you're ready, gently come up to a nice, comfortable seated position. Take all the time you need. Go ahead and absorb your practice today. Hopefully you had a little bit of fun. Your back and hips are feeling a little bit more mobile. Thank you for letting me lead our practice today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know in the comments below. Let me know how you felt, what was hard, what wasn't. And I hope to see you next time. Namaste, take peace, and we'll see you later.